G'day everyone, it's Milmel here and I'm back again to finish off this All Out War number 4. This will be act number 2 of that. Just really want to get this elite character token. I think this will be about my 7th one, so I'm getting back up to almost those 10s to be able to do another opening, and hopefully we can pull out something okay. A 4-star would be nice. 5-star would be great. 3 stars, yeah, that's probably what I'll get. So we're continuing on with the same team, and that's led by Ezekiel there. And then we just got Krista, Herschel, Aaron, and Rod, and then Michonne as the ally. Now, basically for this one, as you can see with All Out War number 4, action number 2, it is all zombies. It tells you at the beginning there in the little square, it only has the zombie symbol. So basically for this team, I just set it up in regards to all zombies, seeing that this is going to be all zombie stages. So we've got Ezekiel there who has the plus 24 crit for melees. He also has the medium drop rate, so the medium boost to drop rates, which is always nice. I use him a lot for farming. This isn't my farming team, but I use him a lot with farming, and then he's usually surrounded by a whole heap of greens when I farm. And then I've got Aaron in there. Now Aaron, like I said, has that plus 30 crit rush, which is absolutely great. He's one of those rare melees that have a crit rush, which makes it really nice because it allows you to boost your crit in these melee teams rather than either having a mixture of ranged and melee and then sometimes losing those crit leader skills or those crit rush, not those crit rushes, but more the crit leader skills, because they're usually specific to range and melee. So if you mix them up, then you're losing the crit somewhere. Or basically you have to be able to use all ranged zombie teams all the time, just purely because you're able to get a lot of crit rushes for ranged characters and things like that. You think of people like Rick, Connor, Richard, you know, there's just enormous amounts of ranged characters that have crit rushes, and then there's an enormous amount of range orientated leader skills that are crit. So when it comes to the melees, they sort of, though there are a fair few melees with crit leader skills, you'd think you got Michonne, you even got Denise here, you got Ezekiel. There's plenty of melees with crit leader skills, but there's a very few melees with crit rushes. The two I can think of off the top of my head is Aaron and Ben, who have crit rushes. So it's very important to sort of hold on to those types of characters, so it allows you to set up teams that are both melee orientated and also range, sorry. So that's why I'm keeping Aaron, though I don't actually use him for anything else. I've not really upgraded him at all. I do use him for these zombie stages where I can bring in melees, and also it allows me to get those medium boost rates because I'm able to keep Ezekiel as leader, and then I just use his rush to boost it. And it's doing fairly well so far. These guys are getting through it fairly comfortably, led by that plus 24 crit, and then you got the plus 30 boost of that rush, so it brings up 54 up, and then their weapons are a minimum of 20 and then up to 30 with things like Lucille and all that. So it's a nice bit of crit there, and they're not particularly a high team grade, they're only the B++. So when it comes to zombie stages and when they do make these all acts or 1 zombies or people, I prefer it to be all zombies. It's very easy because you can have lower grade teams that have a lot of crit that will get through it really easily, and then it's a bit harder with people stages. You sort of have to use your battle items more and rely more on those battle items. But if you can get a good team together that has a good crit leader skill, whether you have a leader that has the plus 24 crit or not, just anyone with a nice leader skill. You have things like 3-star Andrea, who's got the plus 12 crit. You got some 4 stars with some nice crit rushes like Denise plus 16, and then you got things like Michonne, who has the plus 24, the 4-star one of her. And also I believe it's Holly, I think, has a crit leader skill. Maybe guessing that one, I'm not 100% sure. So as long as you can get a nice little crit leader there, and then you sort of set your team up according to what that leader skill is. So if it's all tough, bring in all tough. That's what Aaron's leader skill is. If it's all melee like Ezekiel here, you bring in all melees. If it's all ranged, you bring in all ranged, and you just set your team up according to that. And then if you're able to have characters that have these crit rushes like Aaron, your Richard, your Connors, your Ricks, and people like that that have these crit rushes and are able to boost it, they're really handy if you can try and set up a team that incorporates them, just purely because it's going to cut back on the amount of battle items you have to use, so you won't need as much of your sharpshooters or nitric oxide to make up that extra crit. Or if you're not getting enough crit, then you have that rush, but then you can also use the nitric oxide and sharpshooters to boost it once again and get extra crit. And so that's basically what you want to do. You want to be making sure you're setting up not your strongest team in regards to team grade or anything like that when it comes to zombies, but your strongest team in regards to the amount of crit you can get, and you want to be maximizing that potential for crit. So if you have a person that has a crit rush that is possibly going to give you more crit rather than using a leader that will give you less crit, you could even mix it up if you want. If you have a leader that is a ranged leader but then have a crit skill like Aaron's here, you could have an all ranged team, so 4 ranged characters, and then have 1 melee. Even though he's not going to get that leader skill, like he's not going to benefit from the leader skill, he's going to still give all crit to all 5 of your players and 6 with the ally. So you can sort of mix it up like that. The thing that you don't want to do is weaken it by bringing in a mixed one. So bringing in one that's different from your leader skill is okay, but if you start bringing in more than one, that's when you might struggle a bit because they're all missing out on that leader skill. But like I said, it's just about maximising your crit when it comes to zombies. You can have a very low team grade. I've showed you before numerous teams that are very low, but they have people with nice crit leader skills, 24 or above, or even with, you got the new, not the new, Kenny, who has the plus 36 leader skill. The new Earl has the plus 55 crit. So you can get very low team grades with a decent amount of crit, or even in some cases a nice amount of crit in regards to like Kenny team I usually have with the B++, and then amped up by Connor's plus 35 crit rush. So it's, when it comes to zombies, like I always say, don't worry too much about your team grade and the recommended team grade in regards to that. Just try and maximise your crit and make sure you're getting the highest count of crit that you can get with the roster you have. And you might have favourite people you like to use, like in particular I love using Kenny and Connor, Incognito, and then also my favourite ones here, Ezekiel and Aaron. I like to team them up as also, and just get that, not only the crit leader skill but also the crit rush, and it just makes these stages a whole lot easier. Now I am hoping at some point, I guess you'll get to see Herschel's new revival in action at some point. I've used it a few times and it's actually quite nice. It's sort of like having a smelling salt, but not having a smelling salt, it's only a player's rush. But hopefully I will talk about that a bit more in the later stages. But as always guys, thanks for watching.